Okay, Tony, I have another question, if you don't mind.
Please.
We're looking for a company with experience. And just wondering, what are some of the greatest challenges that the enhanced hospice systems, which I guess conquered in the last year?
Nikolai, I can think of one that comes to mind immediately. It's a project that the surgeons at the hospital nicknamed the Tower of Terror. We were contacted by an assistant vice president of nursing for a hospital in Florida. And that person said to me that she had been spanked twice by her boss, the vice president of nursing. She had gone through every internal management resource that she had, and she still was not able to turn this department around. Now, this was a unique medical surgical floor. It was the second floor on a multi-stage tower. Open Heart was located just above it. It was very upscale. The only way you could tell you were even in a hospital, Nikolai, was to look at the bed in the room. The furnishings were unique. Every possible convenience that could be provided for patients had been. When we arrived, we did our assessment. The morale was poor. Staff was not motivated. The physicians had really nothing good to say about the unit or about the people in the unit. Things were about as bad as you could humanly get without endangering patient safety. And, you know, we found a way to engage the doctors and the nurses. We taught them the kind of communication skills, Nikolai, that really helped them to shape the patient's opinion of care in a positive way. We put our programs in place that allowed them to perform their work seamlessly and reduce their frustration significantly. And we gave them powerful tools. We gave them the tools to be better collectors of data and to communicate that data in a different way to physicians, in a way that was more meaningful. The doctors could then take that information and then determine better treatment modalities for their patients. So what ultimately happened between the doctors and the nurses was that because the nurses could give them good information in a timely manner, they became colleagues, Nikolai, not adversaries. And I can tell you from what I saw from firsthand experience that there was a lot of friction between the two groups initially. So 4 months later, the doctors had renamed that unit the Tower of Excellence. It was an amazing transition. The staff stepped up. They really wanted to do a great job. They just needed some leadership to point them in the right direction. So we, in addition to the things that we were able to accomplish, we trained several leaders to work in that department. We trained the next generation of leaders for the department, which were the charge nurses, and the physicians were so impressed they renamed that the Tower of Excellence. So, but the people stepped up and they made the magic, right?
Impressive.
They did a great job. And the other thing that comes to mind immediately is we were called to consult in a hospital in Northern California, roughly a 300-bed hospital, medium-sized facility. They were having some labor management problems, a lot of union activity going on, a lot of strikes. Morale was low. Probably 20% of staff was agency or 13-week contract nurses. And we came in and we were asked to come in and evaluate things. The CEO of the hospital wanted us to raise the HCAHPS scores. They had been fairly consistent, about 65 to 70, over a period of about 18 months. So we came in, we did our initial analysis. We took the department manager and we gave this person a new set of tools. We taught him leadership skills. We taught him how to motivate his staff and gain their willing support. We taught him how to interact with other leaders in such a way that allowed him to provide better service to their departments, and in return, they provided better service to his. We arranged meetings between him and his charge nurses so that the things we passed on to him, he then passed on to them. So there was a bond that grew from these meetings. The benefit to him was this. the better he prepared them to accept the responsibilities of a manager, right, the less he had to do, and the more they were capable of undertaking. So he started delegating, he started becoming a real leader in every sense of the word, and the charge nurses were being developed as better managers in their role. Now, he told me, he said, you know, Tony, when you first got here, people would call me at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, I have a problem, what would you like me to do to fix it? He said, now, Tony, I come to work the next day, and they say, we had a problem, this is what we did to fix it.
What a difference.
The enemy was HCAHPS schools, and they had tried a number of different initiatives. They had the Studer Group come in, they had some other consulting firms come in. They really couldn't budge the schools. So I was told by the chief nurse and by some of the other consultants that it was a union problem. And we did an analysis for about a week, and we found out that it really wasn't a union problem. Again, the solution was leadership. You know, 99.5% of everybody who comes to work each day wants to do a good job. And if they have a leader there to show them how, it happens. So we gave him our bag of tricks, right? We taught him how to communicate effectively. We taught him how to engage his staff and other department leaders. Again, we put our programs in place. Doctors and nurses had better communication, and they had a more collegial relationship. The two groups started to work more closely with each other, right? And they started to produce the kind of results that have a significant impact on patient care. Soft skills usually win the day in a situation like this once the clinical has been corrected. And we taught them how to communicate with patients, families, and physicians, right? That helped to create positive impressions of the care that they were given, so that the doctors and nurses could then take advantage of the good hard work, or take credit for the good hard work that they did when they were in the room, right? So the clinical staff gave great care, and the patients were now able to understand that they were getting great care. Satisfaction scores rose 16 points in 2 months, 60 days. And and the C-level administrators were very, very happy with that progress. It was an amazing transition. We taught the manager how to hire effectively, and he was told that nobody would come to this remote location in the state of California. Using our methods, he hired 23 RNs, 10% of which had a master's degree, and he hired 6 support staff as well. So in 6 months' time, inpatient satisfaction scores reached the 90th percentile, and from the reports I keep receiving, he was able to maintain that. So truly an incredible job in and of itself. All right, so those are the two that really stand out in my mind. In addition, let me say one more thing. We were able to increase patient volumes by 23% over the previous 2 years. Now, 23% may not sound like much, but in a 36-bed unit, that amounts to 8 beds. Correct. The cost of a hospital stay in the state of California, for example, is $3,500 a night for the building and the nurse. You can multiply 3,500 times the number 8 times 7 times 52, and the number that you get is $10,133,000. Now, even if you say a percentage of these people didn't have good insurance or indigent care or couldn't pay, right? Let's be generous. Let's say it was 30%, right? You still have 70% above and beyond that could pay. So instead of $10 million, they made $7 million above and beyond the revenues for that department for the previous 2 years, right? So if you do it right, everything you do should be driven in the name of the patient, right? If you treat people with respect, if you can teach them how to engage people and patients, if you can teach them how to communicate effectively, if you could give them programs that remove frustrations while they work and allow them to perform that work seamlessly, and if you give them the tools they need to do the job, there's no problem, Nikolai, that they can't overcome.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
people make magic. They really do. And utilizing these systems, they get the kind of results they need, not only to just improve the HCAHPS scores, but to give better patient care and then to communicate effectively in such a way that the patients understand that they're getting better care. So ultimately, everything we do for the benefit of the patient. And in the end result of all that then is that patient satisfaction goes up, employee satisfaction goes up, physician satisfaction goes up, patient volumes increase, and then who benefits? The hospital, right? So in the final analysis, that's everything you need to do to succeed in a difficult situation.
Very, very impressive. Has enhanced hospital systems ever had a failure or a bad experience?
Nikolai, all our programs are behaviorally based. And by focusing on behavior, we eliminate age, ethnicity, and gender as a potential source of bias. So by holding everybody to a standard, and accountability is the only standard that you can hold someone to. I apologize. Behavior is the only standard that you can hold somebody accountable to without resistance from staff or physicians, because they understand that it's not the manager not liking something about the individual. It's everybody signed a standard of behavior when they came to work for the hospital. Everybody agreed to do this as part of their commitment to taking care of patients, and everybody will enforce those standards because it's part of the culture. It's the code by which everybody lives. So to date, we have not had a failure, and I honestly hope that never happens, but the methods that we use will ensure that it doesn't.
Again, thank you again, Tony. I think very, very impressive what your team was able to do.
You're very welcome. Thank you.